We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Out to the four corners of the globe and broadcasting to you live from the studios of LA Talk Live in beautiful, sunny Los Angeles, California. And man, after a little bit of rain, what a beautiful day today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We're back. The world's only show that explores the global impact of cannabis. This is the one and only, The Marijualogist, where we explore the social, political, economic, medical, and ecological impact of cannabis on California, yes, the very mecca of the movement, and of course the entire globe. What's happening in your state, your city, your town? Are you legal yet? I'd like to know. I'm your humble host and moderator, Richard Karr. Joining me a little later on the mic tonight, but running a bit late, is my esteemed colleague and the man on the street, Ikkor the Wolf, live in the studio coming up next. We've also got some very special guests. We've got the Dank Tank in the studio, and many gifts and blessings have been bestowed upon us from this gentleman's very presence. We'll talk more about that later in the show tonight. So welcome to another live episode of The Marijualogist. We're going to take a quick break. Excuse me. Getting ready for the show. You know, I get excited right at the beginning of the show. And we're going to go back to some messages from our good friends and one of the founding spokes organizations, if there's such a word, spokes organizations, some of the greatest folks that we've ever met in our discovery about cannabis and the legalization thereof. Well, LEAP, Law Enforcement Action Partnership, co-founder Jack Cole, a little something we pulled up from YouTube tonight. That's going to be our intro information. We want you to stay tuned. You are tastefully tuned to the world leader in internet broadcast, LA Talk Live, and the American Talk Live Broadcast Network. For those of you out there who are uninitiated, tell your friends to go to www.latalklive.com. It'll take you to our umbrella network, which is the America Talk Live Broadcast Network, and we will be in live and in living color momentarily. Meanwhile, enjoy this message from Law Enforcement Action Partnership, our good friends, and big ups to Jack Cole for all the hard work you put in. We'll be back. More from The Marijualogist. Don't go away.
Medications based on risk. Schedule 1 being the most dangerous. What is Schedule 1 drug? Marijuana, LSD, and heroin. What is a Schedule 2 drug? Cocaine. What is a Schedule 3 drug? Anabolic steroids. What is a Schedule 4 drug? Valium. Schedule 5 drugs are considered the least risky. What is considered the least risky drug? Cough preparations with less than 200 milligrams of codeine. And what drugs are not scheduled at all? Alcohol and cigarettes. Why does the federal government consider tobacco and alcohol a low risk and marijuana a high risk? If you answered, I don't know, you answered right. We don't know either. End prohibition now.
My name is Jack A. Cole. I'm a retired detective lieutenant from the New Jersey State Police. I served 26 years there. For 14 of those years, I worked undercover in narcotics. And nothing I did in that entire 26 years reduced the number of drug abusers in this country by so much as one person. As a matter of fact, it made it far, far worse. It's a self-perpetuating, constantly expanding policy disaster. Every year it's worse than it was the year before, and we've been making it worse now for 45 years. In that 45 years, it's cost us dearly. We've spent more than $1.5 trillion on this war. And you know what we have to show for it? Basically, it's just this. In that 45 years, we've made more than 50 million arrests for non-violent drug offenses. 50 million. I mean, think about that. Some countries don't have 50 million people. We've made 50 million arrests for non-violent drug offenses, and we've done everything we can possibly do to destroy the lives of the people we arrest. There's 3 reasons why the war exists: money, power, and racism. That's why it started, and that's why it exists today. And if you want to know about the racism, if your audience wants to know who uses and who sells drugs in the United States, it's very easy to find out. You go to the Federal Household Survey that's done every year, and what that says is that 72% of the people using and selling drugs look just like me, a bunch of white guys. Only 13.5% of those folks are black folks. And you know, according to all the studies, blacks are just about as likely to use drugs as white, but no more likely to use drugs than whites. But now, who gets arrested? Across the United States, 37% of all the people arrested for drug violations are black. And who goes to prison? In our state prisons, 60% of all the people there serving time for drug violations are black. And in our federal prison system, it's 81%. They're only 13% of the problem. When I retired, I felt so bad about my role in implementing the war on drugs. Felt so bad about the fact that about 1,000 young people went to prison as a direct result of what I had done out there as one undercover agent. Young folks who, most of them had never even committed any other crime in their life other than the fact that they wanted to put something in their body that I don't want to put in mine. So we sent them to prison for that. So I really felt bad about it. So I sat down with 4 other police officers and we created Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. On our way to creating it, we tried to figure out what we as law enforcers should really be interested in doing. And when we boiled it down to the essence, we decided there's 4 things that law enforcers should be interested in reducing: death, disease, crime, and addiction. And sadly, Michael, all 4 of those categories are just made infinitely worse by the war on drugs. So that certainly wasn't what we want. What we decided we do want is reflected in our name, Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. We want to end prohibition of the currently illicit drugs around the world today, just like we ended alcohol prohibition in this country in 1933. Because looking at that terrible law from the viewpoint of law enforcers, we understand that the day after we ended alcohol prohibition, Al Capone and all his smuggling buddies were out of business. Next morning, they were done. They were no longer out there killing each other to control that very lucrative market. They were no longer killing our children caught in crossfire and drive-by shootings. They were no longer even killing cops charged with fighting that useless war. So we know that if we were to legalize all these drugs, we could end this prohibition violence, this terrible gun violence. It'd be over. And then once we've legalized it, and only once we've legalized it, we could regulate these drugs. You can't regulate or control anything while it's illegal. So you legalize it, then you regulate it. Once we regulate it, wonderful things will happen. We can prevent overdose deaths from drugs. Nobody has to die of an overdose. In the 14 years I worked undercover with those folks, I heard and saw a lot of overdose deaths. I never heard of one person dying because they shot more and more dope. Doesn't happen. They die because they simply don't know how much that tiny little package of powder they're buying is really the drug and how much is the cutting agent. Too much drug and you're dead. You know, it takes, for instance, heroin takes 8 milligrams to get you high. It takes 50 milligrams to kill you. So that's a 1 to 6 average there. And when you're shooting a package of dope that you think might be 10% pure and it turns out to be 60% pure, you're dead. It's just as simple as that. We want to save their lives, and we can do that by regulating these drugs. We'll still have an addicted person, but the person will know what they're taking and stay alive. And that is, there's nothing more important than that, because if you can keep them alive, you got a chance to wean them off the drugs. And you show me any parent that lost a child, and I'll guarantee you they'd rather have an addicted child than a dead child, all right? Because with an addicted child, you got some hope for the future. But let me tell you how poor a policy it is. Back when I started working undercover, that was the beginning of the war on drugs. It was 1970. And in 1970, we didn't need a war on drugs. If you look at the statistics from that year, you'll find that the likelihood of anybody dying in this country as a result of the drug culture, you'll find that it was less likely that that would happen than them dying from falling down the steps in their own home. Less likely than choking to death on your own food at dinner, but we started a war on drugs, right? So you got to wonder, why in the world did we do such a thing? We really didn't have a drug problem in 1970. What little problem we had was basically soft drugs, marijuana, hashish, some LSD, psilocybin, the mushrooms, the mind-bending drugs, right? Hard drugs like heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine were virtually unheard of in 1970, certainly unheard of compared to what they are today. And the way I can show your audience this is to tell them, remind them. And by the way, I have to remind them, it's got to be an old coot like me that reminds them, because I'm 77 years old. You've got to be my age to have lived in the United States when we didn't have a war on drugs, right? This has been going on for 2 generations, 45 years. Most of the people alive today have never experienced the United States without a war. So in 1970, when we started it, there just weren't a lot of drug dealers out there. And thanks to Richard Nixon, who started the war on drugs.
President Nixon, who coined the phrase war on drugs, was the driving force behind today's marijuana laws. As a public service, we'd like to share a quote taken from the actual recordings made in the Oval Office.
Every one of those bastards that are out for legalizing marijuana is Jewish. What the Christ is the matter with the Jews, Bob? I suppose it's because most of them are psychiatrists.
That's right, Mr. President. They're all psychiatrists. So what do you propose we do about marijuana?
I want to hit it right square in the puss.
Very presidential, sir, right in the puss. But your own commission suggested that private possession of marijuana should no longer be criminalized.
The commission's frankly just a bunch of do-gooders.
That doesn't sound very presidential, but I'll tell you what is. Ending prohibition. I know you can do it. End prohibition now.
He got the U.S. Congress to give massive funding bills, give tremendous amounts of money to any police department willing to hire cops to fight his war. I'll tell you how huge these things were. When I joined the state police, it was 1964. We had 1,700 troopers. We had a 7-man narcotic unit. Always seemed perfectly adequate. 6 years later, we had exactly those numbers. It was enough. We didn't have a problem. And then in 1970 in October, when I went into narcotics, we went from a 7-man narcotic unit to a 76-person narcotic bureau overnight, all paid for by the federal government. And this was replicated across the whole United States. So what happens when you take a police organization with one job and you increase its size by 11 times its size? Well, in the next year, we were expected to make at least 11 times more arrests. And that was really hard in 1970 because there weren't a lot of drug dealers out there.
Right.
Not like it is today. So what they did was diabolical. And my bosses knew that we had to show numbers. We had to show that the war on drugs was so necessary that the feds would keep paying the bill for all these 76 troopers they hired, right? To replace us guys they brought in to be narcs. How do you do that when there's really not much of a drug problem? Well, you lie a lot. And it becomes a numbers game. And you have to go out and make arrests as fast as you can make arrests. To find real drug dealers, you had to go to the largest cities in the United States. So that would be New York City on our east, or Philadelphia on our west. And we weren't working those. We had, of the 76 narcs we had, 25 of us became undercover agents. And we were working the suburbs of New Jersey. I was working between 5 and 20 miles outside of Manhattan here. There weren't any drug dealers out there. So instead of targeting us on real drug dealers, they targeted us on young people. Young people in college, young people in high school, or in between. And when I'd weasel my way into a small friendship group of 10 or 15 of these young people, and I'd become their friend, come Friday night, somebody might say, hey, we're out of school, for the weekend, we're off job. Let's get high. And if nobody said that, that was my job. And if anybody took me up on this offer, then one of the friends who happened to have access to the family car or some other way to get to New York City would go around to the other friends and say, hey, you want to get high? And somebody might say, well, nah, I'm studying for a test Monday. I'll catch you next time. But others would say, yeah, while you're in the city, pick me up a couple joints, will you? A couple joints. Or somebody might say, I hear there's some really good blotter acid out there. If you run across any when you're in the city, buy me a hit of blotter acid, 1 dose of blotter acid. When they'd come to me, I'd put my order in for the same tiny little bit of drugs because I want to look like them, right? We're talking $5 worth of drugs. They'd jump in the car off, they'd go to the city. An hour later, they'd come back and they'd hand the drugs out to their friends. When they handed it to me, they became a big-time drug dealer. Because that's what we labeled them, and that is what stuck. And of course, I wouldn't arrest them, I'm undercover. I would just keep making cases. I'd make cases on this friendship group till I got every single person in the group. And it was really easy to do because these people were not drug dealers. They were young people who were doing what we used to call dipping and dabbing, right? Experimenting with drugs, and then accommodating their friends so that 15 people didn't have to go to the city. One person would go and buy for every. They weren't getting any money for this. They weren't even getting their gas money back. So the person that made the run the first night wasn't going to make the run the next night. Then it's person B, person C, person D. I stayed there till I had a case on every single person. And I might be working 10 of these friendship groups simultaneously in different suburbs. So it didn't take long. About every 2 months, I would come in with maybe cases on 100 people. And would have a big raid. Swoop into their communities with hundreds of cops, kick down their doors at 5 o'clock in the morning. Kick down their doors and drag them, and we literally did, kick down their doors. All we had was body worn. We would kick down their doors, go in, search the place, drag them out in chains. If we found any drugs in the place, everybody went. And since these were young people, that meant their mother, their father, their sister, their brother, everybody's under arrest. When we got them all down to the police station, we would have already alerted the reporters to be there with their cameras, to take their pictures in that perp walk and splash them all over the front pages of their local newspapers, destroying any credibility, any respectability these young people had. And then when we got them all lined up against that back wall, my boss would come out. And he'd say to the reporters, you see that? There's 100 major drug dealers we took out of your community. Major drug dealers, right? And he'd say, this is the worst thing that's ever happened in the United States. This is going to destroy society as we know it. And the only protection you have is that thin blue line of cops. We need more money so we can hire more cops. We need more money so we can buy faster cars. We need better radio communications. We need surveillance equipment. We need bulletproof vests. We need guns that shoot a whole bunch of bullets. We need harsher laws. We need mandatory minimum sentences for drug laws. We need 3 strikes you're out for drug laws. We need. And the reporters would go away and write horror stories, scaring the public to death. And the people out there would pick up that newspaper the next morning and read that story and say, give it to them. Give it to them. And then we'd go out and do even worse. Let me take the time to tell you what happened to those young people. And think, these are young people just like yourself, man. Folks who are in the prime of their life, trying to get their education, we snatch them off the streets. We only had one law back then for drugs. It said it's illegal to distribute a controlled dangerous substance. Then it named a big line of substances. There was no differentiation between hard drugs and soft drugs. There was no differentiation between 40 pounds of a substance or a roach. There was not even any differentiation or indication that any money had to change hands. The mere handing of one marijuana cigarette from one person to another made the person that's handing it a drug dealer.
Wow.
Yeah, wow, indeed. Well, let me tell you what happened to these folks. Because of this, because of one law, every one of these people was sentenced to exactly the same thing, 7 years in prison. A 100 of them about every 2 months I was bringing in. 7 years in prison. Now in New Jersey, you have to serve 1/3 of max before you come out. So that meant roughly 2.5 years after I would hold each one of these raids, another 100 people is hitting the street coming out of prison. How are they going to make a living? How are they going to feed their family? We snatched them off the street in the prime of their life when they're trying to get their education. They don't have any education. And even if they did, who the hell is going to hire them? They're drug dealers. That's what we said they were. Nobody's going to hire a drug dealer. So what are they going to do? They're going to turn right back to this drug culture, the very group we say we're trying to save them from, only now they're going to become, honest to goodness, real drug dealers. And for every new real drug dealer you got on the street, you got to have a whole bunch of new real drug users to support them. So each one of these people, 2.5 years after I arrest them, is out there recruiting younger people every day to pick up those needles and become the next statistic. You see, this is how this thing became a self-perpetuating, constantly expanding policy disaster. There is no way to fix it. We have to end it. We have to end the war. We have to end drug prohibition. The best way to make sure is to tell the truth, to start telling the truth. That's what LEAP does. You know, I said I started with 4 other cops. Well, it's 13 years later, and we're no longer 5 cops. We're well over 150,000 police, judges, prosecutors, prison officials. We've got supporters in 120 countries. We were just accepted by the United Nations last April as an NGO with consultant status to them. So now we have access to the International Commission on Narcotic Drugs, to their meetings. And the very first thing we did when we got that access was we submitted a proposal for an amendment. Of course, we can't do it, but we put the proposal in. We got to get one country to pick it up and submit it officially, and it will be an amendment that they'll have to deal with and vote on. And what this, it's a 45-page amendment. It's very, very well written because we've got a lot of judges and prosecutors in LEAP that all went over it. But it's very simple what it says. Basically, it says that if the amendment is accepted from now on, every member state, I think there's 186 member states in the UN, every member state will once again have the right to self-determination. They'll be able to decide for themselves if they want all the drugs that the United States say are illegal be illegal in their country. Or maybe if they want to legalize cannabis, let them experiment. Or maybe if they want to legalize it all, let them experiment. Michael, that's exactly what happened in this country when we ended alcohol prohibition. When we ended alcohol prohibition, the federal government didn't say alcohol is now legal. They just said, we're no longer in the equation. This is up to each state to decide whether they want it legal or not. And we had 48 experiments going on, each in a different state. And when you get that kind of thing going, you know, it worked better in some states than other states, and pretty soon everybody realized the best way to work it is to end prohibition completely. And then use regulation and control. Again, tell them the truth, because the truth hadn't been told, you know. They started out with things like reefer madness, and it hasn't changed a whole lot since then. When I grew up, that's what I watched, movies like Reefer Madness or Man with the Golden Arm, you know, and I believed every word of it. But now we know better, and everything was given to us on an emotional level back then. And now we have science, and we can figure out what really is going on and what really isn't going on. You tell people about this. You explain to them that cannabis or marijuana is less dangerous than peanuts, you know, which is a fact. Every year in the United States, about 60 people die from ingesting peanuts. There's never been a single person in all recorded history that died from ingesting marijuana, so apparently marijuana is less dangerous than peanuts. So when you start telling the truth about this stuff, people say, oh, you mean the sky's not falling, right? Well, maybe we can change things, and that's what's happening. That's why we have 4 states now in the District of Columbia that have legalized marijuana even for recreational purposes. And come 2016, I would bet you that number will double. Because it has a lot to do with money. And look what happened in Colorado. Look at all that money they raised through taxes. And once they legalized marijuana, all this tax money was coming in. Other great things happened. Crime dropped. Crime dropped after they legalized there. All opiate deaths are down 25% in all the states that had even legalized medical marijuana by the year 1998. It's down 25%. So, and that's going to really happen in states that have legalized marijuana for recreational purposes, you know? So many of these people using hard drugs are self-medicating. They've got real problems. I mean, they got many mental issues. People don't use hard drugs because, oh boy, it's fun. They use it because their life is kind of screwed up, and they want to just forget about that for the time being, you know? So if they can do the same thing by using a more benign drug like marijuana, you keep them alive, you know? That's paramount. Keep them alive. We really help people who are alcoholics. If they'll go to rehab, we not only will send them, but we'll pay for. Usually, it's their corporation that they're an employee of pays for their rehabilitation. Why don't we do the same thing to people addicted to other drugs? You know? Save their lives. Give them hope for the future, and you wouldn't have nearly as many people using drugs. So everything we're doing is just the opposite. I'll show you how opposite it is. When I started working on the war on drugs, kicking doors in 1970, as a young trooper, we measured our largest drug seizures, our largest individual drug seizures in pounds. That was a big thing when you could get a pound of anything. Today, what do we measure them in?
Tons?
Tons. 15 tons of methamphetamine, 1 seizure. 20 tons of cocaine, 1 seizure. 23 tons of heroin, 1 seizure. And believe it or not, Michael, 242 tons of marijuana, one seizure. Now let me tell you what happens the night after each one of these humongous seizures on the streets. Nothing. The price didn't change by so much as 1 penny, and I'll guarantee you the night that any one of these seizures happened, nobody went to bed without their drug exposure.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to tonight's live episode of the world's only show that gets to the very root of the medical cannabis question, I should say, tonight. Joining me as always, well, first of all, let me tell you about the show. This is the Marijualogist, exploring the global impact of cannabis throughout California and the globe. Your humble host and moderator, Richard Karr, my esteemed colleague and co-host, co-producer of the show, joins me now live on the mic, Ikkor the Wolf. There he is.
Wow.
Yeah, we got him now.
Friday.
You're in the pipe 5x5.
Yes.
Welcome to our show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. We broadcast each and every Friday at 4:20 Pacific Standard Time, 4:20 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, here on the world leader in internet broadcast, LA Talk Live, and the America Talk Live Broadcast Network. Going on our, is this our 8th year?
Yeah.
Wait now. Wait for it. Again, is this our 8th year?
Yeah. Thank you out there.
Yes.
Thank you out there.
Wow.
Yes.
8 years strong. Now listen, just this show alone.
It's awesome.
Going on our 9th year as a broadcast network. And but 8 years we've been doing this show. 8 years we have been advocating, working hard to get the message out from all perspectives as it relates to the social, political, economic, medical, and ecological impact of cannabis on California and in L.A. And big ups to the Bay, the very mecca of the medical cannabis movement and what we know today as full and complete legalization. So once again, we want to thank our good friends over at Law Enforcement Against Prohibition, as they're formerly known, now known as Law Enforcement Action Partnership. They're not just against it, they're taking action against it, meaning that they are a group of the best and brightest, the tip of the spear of the drug war, who are advocating for safe and legal access to the drug of your choice. Let's not look at it as a crime, but as a medical problem. And part of what we're going to talk about tonight is that medical aspect, and big ups to LEAP co-founder Jack Cole. This is from YouTube, a video we pulled up from 2015. 2015, it's now 2017, going into 2018. From 2015,
Wow.
Here was a guy in his 70s.
Just 1 month from now.
Working his ass off still to put the message out that the drug war has failed, that cops and DEA, CIA, FBI, all the alphabet organizations don't want to deal with it from a crime perspective or a penitentiary or a penal system perspective. We need to figure out how to put these people back to work, dare I say, and I hate to say it, to make America great again.
But he said something very important in that in his spiel.
Well,
in his spiel.
ladies and gentlemen, my esteemed colleague and co-host, Ikkor the Wolf.
Thank you very much.
Right,
Thank you.
wait
Thank
for
you
it,
very
wait
much.
for it.
Thank you.
There you go. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
While I
Regimen.
adjust your camera.
No, but he said something very vital, because he said you have to be born and lived in an era where there were no war on drugs. You know what I mean? To be able to even understand or understand the whole gamut of what's going on to this day. That's why you said, when you said he's 70 years old, still out there in the front line pushing it, because he saw from the beginning and saw how it escalated when it became a circus, a carnival with this within the money and where all the money is going and where it's not going. You know what I mean? So to be able to live in that era and to feel that, and then just all of a sudden be escalated to seeing all these different escalations all the way up to where we are now. You have to live that to know what's going on right now.
Faking all those moves.
Faking all those moves. And you have to live that
like
back then to know what it is now.
America doesn't want drugs. I heard Donald Trump recently and forevermore say that they want to figure out a way, and they're testing walls to prevent drugs from coming into America.
Well, yeah, they prescribe drugs.
and not acknowledging, say that, brother.
But yet they prescribe drugs,
That
huh?
they're coming from the doctors and the pharmaceuticals. They're already in our country. And they're
Harming
here
us
to
with their
stay.
pharmaceuticals. Hashtag pharmaceuticals. Hashtag pharmaceuticals. No.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Ikkor, the Wolf,
Yes.
our man on the street. What's going on in the collectives and the cannabis organizations out there? What's going on the streets?
They're
Give us
getting,
some insight.
they're steady popping up, and they're steady being shut down, and we're nearing the era. I mean, the end of 2017, going into 2018, and if 2018, and if a lot of these collectives don't have their proper paperwork, they're getting ready to get shut down because they're, especially if they don't have the SB 94 situation that's going on within their legalization, and a lot of things have changed as well because you have to, in order to have your collective now, you have to even participate in the community aspect of it. So you got to start giving out and reaching out to the community.
And why is
not
that?
an
Would
outreach,
you
but
please
you got to reach
explain
out.
what a collective is all about? When you think collective, think vegetables. And people in the community who grow vegetables, who don't sell you vegetables, when you come to their little storefront or their little sidewalk farmer's market, they actually give you the vegetables, but would you donate to the local collective who grow tomatoes and good lettuce and some onions and whatever else
Right.
in your neighborhood? Donate to us. We'll provide you with good, clean, wholesome vegetables that you don't get and do not take for granted that you'll get in our local supermarkets and produce stores. So a collective is based on that notion.
All those green.
So you've got to give something back to the community.
You have
You're not even there for profit.
Listen, man, this all the way down to the animals, that's involved in this now.
Really?
Yes, because they're creating oils and everything for animals' safety and lives as well and health.
That's true. Yeah.
So all these are
Cats
all these
have
things-
leukemia.
all-
Cats have
man.
AIDS. I don't even
and a lot of people
understand
don't
that.
have the money to go to those
How does a cat
veterinarians.
get AIDS?
It's just
How does a kitten get leukemia?
right, out there on the streets. You know what I mean?
Yeah, on
Fucking
them
with a
streets like
Dauphine
that.
cat. You know
Got
what I'm saying?
9 lives, man.
Nasty
Fucking with a
ass cat.
Dauphine cat. The cats out there on the Broadway streets. You know what I mean? The streets
Get
is
closer to your
real out
microphone.
there.
Let me see. Where's your microphone at?
Those streets are real out there.
Say something. Something. That's not you. Hold on. Something now.
Lego.
There we go.
Lego.
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 Lexi Lego introducing.
Yeah, man.
But so you have to have that in order. There was some more things. All those green signs, all the crosses and all that, like
What do you mean?
all the like the illuminated lights that are all in these windows.
That's no good.
No good. No good.
No bueno.
No bueno. It's like how they have the fluorescent lights flashing and all that. In a minute, they got to take all that down.
Really?
I didn't know that.
They have these town hall meetings, and we have to be up on the regulations and all the things. And these are little minor things. It's not nothing
All right, so
really
let's
major,
speak
but those are
about
minor.
that. We've got some special guests joining us in our studio tonight. I think
Yeah.
it's well past time to introduce them.
Exactly.
I'll pass the mic to you, my friend.
Yes, we have out of Los Angeles, California, with a company that's very beautiful and a vape company. It's Cannabis Sap for Vapor Connoisseurs, and we want to introduce who's also I met and had at our event the other day at the Smoketoberfest on Halloween, in the Halloween month, October 21st for the Smoketoberfest, and he was a vendor. His company as well was a vendor at our event, and we want to introduce my man Jumani from the Dank Tank.
Yes.
The Dank Tank.
Ikkor, thank you.
They're like they specialize in vapes, all kind, like indicas, hybrids,
Yes.
sativas.
Yes.
They got the weed sap reactor. I mean, they got all these different displays, man. Like
Yes.
batteries going with it, USB chargers, ridiculous.
Everything you need for enjoying cannabis concentrates, we provide that for the patients all throughout California. Dank Tank provides vape products as well as other cannabis concentrate products, CBD products, in addition to the batteries as well that go with and power the devices.
You've been so generous. I have to admit to my lady fans out there, much to your chagrin, I will not be on the mic tonight because I'm here helping to represent this particular product because this gentleman has been so incredibly generous to us. here in the
It's our
studio
pleasure.
tonight, and we're going to hope to keep his word and
It is our
information
pleasure.
out there.
He's giving us gifts,
And I got to tell you, man, once again,
he's giving us gifts.
yeah, look at that. That's
And I
pretty
mean,
cool.
I got a bag. I got a bag full. I got a vape pen. I got brochures.
Show them yours.
That's what
I
we're in
got
the business
brochures.
of. We're in the
I
business
got
of helping people.
a nice little lanyard here to go for whatever I need it for.
Get the charger.
Well, that's for your vaporizer.
Okay, for my sure is.
exactly, yeah.
You can
Sure
wear
is.
that around your neck.
I'll put it right here. You slide it right through the little grip here.
Yeah.
Now, Jumani, do not disrespect the mic. You want to stay tight to it. Get in
I got
there.
you.
Yeah, we wanna hear what you gotta say.
You got a great voice, too. You don't want to waste that on the ladies.
Thank you.
And so I say at this
Thank you.
time, everybody on LA Talk Live, Rich, I think you need to get all the screens up. You can wait, get yourself in there, get us all in there. That way we can go ahead and take us a nice libation right now of the Dank Tank. And I say, ready? Everybody, go.
A little moment of silence for the Dank Tank, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Yes, everybody's
All right.
enjoying.
Now, which
Yes.
one of you
I have-
generous individuals would like to pass me your Dank Tank?
Oh, sure.
All right, no, I'll take it. Pass it, Duffy.
To the left.
Yeah, man.
So what I just had is an indica, and I had a nice long strong hit of that one, and I was waiting for the light to blink, and it never blinked, and I was after 5 seconds. But it's very smooth, and I'm not really coughing, and after like afterwards, like directly afterwards. Normally I would cough. I'm not coughing, but I do feel the cough brewing because of that. I'm kind of suppressing
right.
it.
Yes,
But
yes.
it
You
didn't-
can
didn't-
feel it. You can feel the THC. You can feel the medicative effects that are inside you.
Now, let's talk about the legalities of vaporized cannabis in the workplace. Of course, we know we can't use it there. It's still being frowned upon.
Well, it depends on what workplace. you
Well-
Well, of
work
course,
at.
and then of course, office spaces. This is not smoke.
Yes.
To our tuners out there, we're not smoking
No, we're vaping.
in a public building. We're vaporizing. This is not smoke. There are no fire hazards associated with these devices. Can we speak to that a bit? I
Oh,
think that
well,
would
that's
be
one of
important
the
to point out.
wonderful things about this
It is.
product is that if you want to medicate at work, if you need to medicate at work, you can medicate at
You
work.
don't come back smelling all burn up
Exactly.
like a ganja man.
And the only thing that you don't have to worry about, or the only way that somebody would find out is if you were to actually blow the vapor directly in their face.
Exactly.
So
It's still gonna dissipate quickly.
exactly,
Won't harm them.
exactly. But
As Rich hands me off the vape again, boom.
if you need to be super discreet, just go to the bathroom.
Right.
Go to the little stall.
Go to your car.
No one's going to know what you're doing, and then you'll come back to work and you'll be refreshed. If you just want to go outside and if you want to do it right at your desk and just hold it in, you can probably do that too.
Blowing the breeze.
You just need to have strong lungs.
So I see here, I got this brochure here, first and foremost, from Dank Tank. And I like the packaging and the whole marketing,
Thank you.
branding about this whole product.
Thank you.
And I'm looking at inside, you have half-gram cartridges of 500 milligrams. It lasts up to like 50, 60 inhalations.
Yes, maybe even more.
You have
That's one
one,
and a half.
yeah, that's just a half. You have 1 gram cartridges that last up to at least 100, 120 inhalations.
Yes.
You have indicas. You have different. You have Afghu, Bubba Kush, King Louis, Master Kush.
Yes.
Michael Jordan, number 23.
Yes.
That's really gonna take you high there.
That's a special blend.
That's gonna take you there
LSD.
above the rim. LSD, OG Kush, Skywalker, Yoda OG. Wow. You got the sativas. You got the hybrids. Wow.
We have a wide variety of strains because we want to produce the experiences that people want. We want them to have the wide variety of choices that they want.
Alaskan Thunderfucker. Let's tell you what that does. It's a sativa, and it's uplifting mood, elevating feeling, cerebral, and it promotes productivity.
Yes,
Wow.
that's actually one of our most popular strains.
Wow.
I like that you gave a description on every one. You kind of broke it down a little bit more for other people who may not understand exactly what it is that they're going to smoke and what effects they're going to have. Not everybody comes up into a dispensary and knows what
Exactly.
Alaska Thunderfuck is
Exactly.
or what it's going to do, you know?
And that's why I like how you got the different labels up under there. You know what
Thank
it does
you.
to you. I like that.
Yeah,
That's
we wanted
for
it
you.
to have sort of like a menu effect when you look at the brochure.
Okay.
That makes you kind of wet your palate because you can actually look and see what you want, what interests you, what you want to try.
Now,
How do
I
you
got
want
the
to feel?
hybrid. Which one is this one?
Yeah, I got the indica one.
Which one did you?
I
think
got
you
Mars
the,
OG.
You got the Himalayan Gold.
Okay, nice.
I got the Mars OG.
Peaceful, playful, happy, sensation, mood enhancing, and arousing.
Can we take a moment out to introduce our other guest tonight? We want to welcome her back. She is a returning champion.
Yes.
The lovely Lexi Lego joins us here.
Welcome, Lexi,
Yes.
to LA Talk Live. Back to
Lexi.
LA Talk Live and the Marijualogist show.
And,
Thank you.
you know, we always
Always good to
love
see
to
you.
keep a woman's voice in the conversation, and you hear her speaking from a very professional perspective. She's not just like, oh, wow, this is good weed. What is this?
Right, right.
She actually has quite a dearth of experience, a wealth of experience when it comes to the cannabis industry and what's being produced these days. And oils, tonight, dank tanks.
Ding tanks, really nice.
All the newest rage, right? Everybody is wanting to get the oils because you don't smell burn up when you
Exactly. Walking
smoke
in.
a J or a blunt. You went outside and come on, man, we know what you just did.
Personally, I use my fingers a lot when smoking in a bowl.
And that sounds
So
real
I always
personal,
have
so
black
keep that to
fingers.
yourself.
Right, exactly.
That's nasty.
Well,
All right.
there's also
You turned it dirty.
I know. I did. I'm
know,
gonna
you
do
turned
that.
it dirty,
Yeah,
didn't
come on. But that said, there is something to be said about the volume of THC in these particular applications of cannabis, consumption, because there is this new discussion, and I read this on the Marijuana Times. If you guys don't have a subscription, go to the marijuanatimes.com and subscribe, where there is this fear growing now. There is a fear mongering, may I say, growing now.
talk about it.
About dosage and, people going through, bad trips on using cannabis for the first time. It's your buddy. Here's a pen. You're not smoking a blunt. Go ahead, take a hit.
So many people
and
be
before
turned
you know
off.
it.
You hear them. So you hear those stories a lot. They,
All right.
they get turned off. Like, no, don't do
Can
it.
we be adults about that? And let's address the elephant in the room.
Right.
Who wants to go first?
Everything is in proper dosing. Everything is in knowledge and research, for one. I mean, why would you go do LSD if you don't know anything about LSD? You know what I mean? Why would you go snort cocaine and you're still, just doing? It's like, for one, do your research, and once you read
So if
read
you're
up on
smoking a
those,
strain that's
you're not
going to
want to do that.
LSD,
You're not gonna wanna-
probably not going to want to go that far.
Exactly, but I'm speaking on the actual drugs. It's like, why would you do that anyway? So once you researched it and you learn about it, you're not going to do it. But if you research the cannabis and the oils and everything, and you see that
Let's be adults in the room.
Exactly.
Kids are not going to research it. Somebody
No.
Well,
passes
that's why
you this
there's
sexy
different
little
shelf
pens. So
like
let's
that's
address
why there's
that.
That's why you got-
mid shelf and top shelf and private reserve.
and
If-
pure CBD.
Yeah, and pure CBD. If you're not an
For the kids to
active
research.
smoker, you probably shouldn't smoke private reserve for your first time.
Exactly.
Like start mid shelf.
I'm gonna tell you right now. The era that we came in smoking, it was you saw seeds and everything. They called it
Yes.
stress or the Reggies, right?
Stress.
And the kids now that's starting off, they first experience on cannabis is like the
They don't know what that's
pie-yow.
like.
But they start off with the pie yow off the
Yes.
bat. So
Yes.
to see anything that's less than that, they're like, "What is that?" If they see anything with season, they're like, "What is that?"
And by kids, what
The
do you
brick.
mean?
You'll
And by
never
kids,
know what that's
and by
like.
kids, what do you mean?
The ones from a generation that's younger, the generation under us.
Age
The kids that are
group-wise,
18,
what-
19,
Like
20,
18, 19,
21.
They're
Exactly.
seeing the stickiest of the ickiest.
Oh my God,
already.
They're growing up
already.
with it.
They're growing up with the best of best, and not even having.
How do you all feel about that?
Well, this is what
Well, I can't do anything about it because that's the way of life. We came in at different eras.
Wait a minute
where-
now. I mean, that's your opinion.
Well, we came in different eras of life, and it's just their era. They came in and why it's been escalating, and this is where it is for them.
At
But-
what age
But it's beautiful for us
should
too.
someone start smoking cannabis?
I'd say like the age of like adult age, 18, 19. You know what I mean? For
Okay.
smoking wise. But if they have an ailment and they need to do it for an ailment, then by all means let it be prescribed at whatever age. But CBD, that's where the CBD comes
Yeah,
in.
exactly, and not
You
the
know, and not the psychoactive.
psychoactive. What would you say,
Property.
Jamani?
it's a personal choice. I think that for everybody, they have to examine what's best for them. For me personally, I got into cannabis when I was 17, when I was in college. And I saw, when I was in high school, some of the people that I was around who were smoking weed in high school, it didn't seem like it was doing the right things for them. You know, so that's why I didn't try it that much.
Let me ask you a question now. But those particular people that did it, did they have a certain look about themselves? Because that plays a part too. Like people look at it like, oh, that's the thugs over there, or that's the so. And they look at them, and they put a bad connotation because they smoke in the trees. At the same time, these grimy like roughnecks. You know what I'm saying? Or you might have like the hippie kids, or like the kids that just more advanced than the non-advanced kids, and then you look at it with a certain look. Like then they put this bad not you per se, but they put this bad connotation on it. And that whole time, because I look back at those moments when I was playing ball and I had teammates who were smoking. I wasn't smoking like that, and
you were judgmental
to a certain degree. You know what I mean?
I mean, let's keep it real, man.
Of course,
like Marijualogist.
Just being like damn.
You can open up to our audience.
Like damn, I don't want to be like looking like my boy and them how they like slowed down and it's like it's affecting their brain.
From
but then,
smoking cannabis?
But I was also not educated all the way on. Because I had smoked cannabis. I mean, I told you how I started out. You know, early I was a single digit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But as the years progressed, I wasn't like no avid smoker. Like I gotta go get a bag. You know, when I grew up. So my mother and them didn't have to worry about.
And
me.
you were judgmental of people who did. Let's keep it real.
No, I can't say too much.
I was.
That's bad. You're bad. You're bad. No, because I had a lot of my friends smoke.
Yeah,
I
was.
I grew up in a household with it. I grew up in a household with it. You know, my dad, my mom. You know,
I did on my own, not my parents. I'll admit that I self-medicated early on, and I wasn't influenced by anyone. I'm not one who's been bullied in my teens, my early teens. I was introduced to it. I'll even say probably for the first time in a city we call the Bricks. That would be Newark, New Jersey. Newark is what they called in those days the Little Apple. Before y'all called it the Bricks, we called it the Little Apple.
Baby New York.
We're moving back and forth over all those bridges all night long like ants in a trail. Going back and forth to the clubs and partying and having a great time. And I dug it. And then later I grew up and, became, clean, what addicts would call it. I was not an addict, but I just decided not to engage in any type of alcohol or drugs or tobacco. And later rediscovered cannabis. Mm-hmm. It was in my rediscovery. I probably was in my recovery, my true recovery.
I always dealt with it.
That's two
dealt
different
with it
things,
all the
though.
time.
You were using it, like you said, more like a party.
I
thing,
always
where
used
now
it that
you're
way.
using it as like a stress-free.
Right. Majority of people use it as a party thing.
That's only my justification now because, quite frankly, when I got out here, when I was latter in life, I realized I made my first legal purchase of cannabis out here in Los Angeles, maybe about 9 years ago when this show started. I was so amazed by what had happened. I'm like, that's the first legal I've never bought crack or any other drug other than
Come on, man, open up now. This is the
alcohol.
forum. This is the marijualogist.
I'm a marijualogist only. I've never been involved with any other drug, but to be able to, in the latter part of my life, make my first legal purchase of weed, that was like mind-bending to me. And when you go to these collectives nowadays and you stand back and look at some of the seniors who walk through them, don't just look over them. You got to understand they're in that sense of freedom too.
Definitely.
Wow, I remember, man, you couldn't, and don't talk to them because they'll tell you all the stories like I'm doing right now. So now swing it back to you in the
that's
studio.
one of the great things about
Welcome back to the Marijualogist.
This industry for me is when I get a chance to go to the different collectives and I see all sorts of different races of people.
Exactly.
I see all sorts of different ages of people. I see men, I see women, and I see people just all there because they want to be there.
I love it.
No
I love
limit
it
soldiers.
I love it at all the different events and the town halls or whatever meetings because you have because the face of cannabis has changed so much. You have suit and ties and CEOs out there that's involved, doctors, lawyers, police officers. They all involved. People are involved. The housewife, the soccer mom, the desperate housewives.
Yeah.
They all out there.
Yeah, they're all coming out the shadows.
We wandered off on a tangent that I started. I apologize. Let's bring it full circle because
It's the
I wanted
cannabis
to get,
show. It's all cannabis.
It's the Marijualogist. I want to get back to the question I started with, and that's dank tank, oils, how people actually understand the dosage levels That's important.
Listen,
I tell people that this is sort of like a mobile joint, or this is a joint that you don't have to roll. All you have to do is just pull it out, and when you're ready,
Charge it up.
Just use it. Actually, yeah, we say in our brochure that one of these is going to be the equivalent to about 3 joints or so, like from start to finish. And this is the half cartridge that I have in my hand right now. And yeah, you want to treat it just like you would a joint. So you want to take one drag off of it. You want to see what it does to you.
Right.
Then, depending on how you feel, you want to take
dosage.
another.
Right.
Or 2 or 3.
I like how you guys see they got a broad spectrum covered here with the Dank Tank, and they have a cannabinoid profile on the back.
I saw that, Rock. I love that.
Right, that's dope. And
Yes.
it's like the cannabinoids
and wellness.
for the people who don't know, who's really still in the dark about it.
Yes.
And it's self-explanatory. It says cannabinoids help with psychiatric and neurological disorders, sleep problems, eating disorders, chronic pain, and GI problems, which is gastrointestinal problems. So you have like the THC A, which is the tetrahydrocannabinolic acid. You have the the THC, which is the tetrahydrocannabinol, and then you have the cannabidiolic, which is the acid, which is the CBDA. Then you just have the cannabidiol, which is the CBD by itself. Then you have the cannabinol, which is the CBN. Then you have the cannabigerol, I would say, pronounced, or cannabigerol, which is the CBG. These are all different CBDs that are all inside of this plant.
Yeah,
And
different
they
cannabinoids.
the different cannabinoids. And, I mean, they tell you all different things about, like, say, for instance, the cannabigerol, which is like the CBG is considered the stem cell or mother cannabinoid. CBG can change into different cannabinoids and drastically change the plant and its effects. CBG is not psychoactive, acting more like an antagonist to THC. CBG is known for its antibacterial, anti-tumor, and neurogenesis effect. So, with that being said, this particular cannabinoid right here could, like, if you were extra high or whatever, you would kind of take this and you could come down. And I'm pretty sure there are more of these on here too that you can take.
CBD
to be able to come
does
down.
that as well.
But I'm
too.
asking, man. Dosage, man? Dosage?
Dosage, man.
Dosage, man?
They got all kinds of things in here.
I actually am really
Channeling my
excited
inner
that you did
Allen
that.
Iverson. Come on. Can I get
To put that out there.
Yes, it's important. We want to educate people,
Yeah.
and that's one of the primary ways that you
you're a
build a
rookie-
relationship. With the public is you come from that perspective of teaching, of listening, of helping people.
That's one topic I kind of wanted to bring up at one point in the show, and so I'm glad that Ikkor started it. And you started it,
And you run with
you
it.
read
Go.
it, and I'll run with it. Is because with everything that I've seen so far, with since it legalized in Colorado, all the money that's been made, a lot of that money can be put to use to find out what exactly all these breakdowns are. There's over like 60
It's like a
cannabinoids,
mystery.
It's
like a mystery still.
and if CBD can
Your
do
body has
all
an
this for you,
endocannabinoid system.
Right, exactly.
What
all
can
the way
all
around.
those
All
do?
through
Breast
it.
milk has cannabinoids in it.
Yeah, breast milk has cannabinoids in it. Yeah, like
From
what
birth.
could every single one of these molecules do as broken down if they put the money and the research into it like they should? That's where the money
Exactly.
should be going, to find out
Now-
exactly all these breakdowns. And I'm glad that you're putting it out there as much as you
Exactly.
can.
Now, the ailment guide, right? Now, doing the vape pen, would you recommend doing the vape pen for the ailment guide? Because I see here it says promotes bone growth, right? Now, would you suggest doing the vape or suggest doing sublingual with the product that you guys have?
Well, the products that we have are going to be good for all of those things.
Doing it vape wise, I'm saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We have CBD products. We have THC products. We have products that range the whole spectrum of the cannabinoids. And so, depending on what particular ailment a person has, that's why we provided that guide, so that they can do their research and they can see how. For example, if they have inflammation,
color code here.
if they have inflammation, the CBD would be a great product for them.
Right.
Fortunately, all of our oils, the THC featured oils, have a high variety of CBD. We also have CBD only products that are available. So if somebody really doesn't want the psychoactive properties of THC, but they want a CBD
pain
product,
relief.
we have that available for them.
Right. Nice. So you have a wide range of ailments here too that these are covering. You know.
Yes, and it's important that people know that it's not just about getting high, quote unquote.
Exactly.
It's about
we're beyond that. We're
it's
way
about
beyond that.
healing yourself, and it's about being well.
It's
and
the wellness plan. It's the wellness
Balancing
part of
your
it now.
chakra.
I'm on the wellness side of it now, way more so than just to smoke and get high, man. Although I still like that because that's where it started from. It's about the plant.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong, but everything that from A to Z with the plant now. That's what I was telling a brother yesterday who had gruesome flowers, and he was talking about like.
Did you say gruesome? Or
Yeah,
gruesome.
gruesome.
Yes,
Gruesome flowers.
yes, some gruesome.
Yes,
is,
indeed.
is,
Some
is that a
gruesome
new
flower. That's
strain?
that strain, that gruesome.
I think we just invented a strain.
Right, gruesome. OG.
I got that gruesome
that
flower.
Gruesome. But it's
Hashtag.
ugly.
That
It's
GF.
ugly.
Got that GF.
No, but he grew a strain.
Gnarly bud.
He grew a strain in East Tampa.
Yeah.
Speaking about how he got rid of this, that, and the other. I was like, hey man, don't get rid of nothing off the plant. You keep everything on
Yes.
the plant because everything is workable and doable and usable.
Yes.
With
To
plant.
the stems.
To
the
All the way down to
stems.
the stems.
To
Yes.
the stems. We tell
That
them, like,
Native
You make
American
teas.
principle,
As I told
where
him.
they
Exactly.
use everything from
Everything.
the animal. You can use
Exactly.
everything from the plant.
Exactly.
Everything.
I think that it probably goes overlooked quite a bit because growers out there, I'm sure you've had this problem. You get these big old stalks laying down all around the ground. I remember one day one of the growers of a friend of mine brought us stalks, and these stalks just kept leaking fluid, but they were wrapped up in big old body bags, so it never got on the carpet. But the smell of this great cannabis radiated throughout my establishment, and it wasn't a cannabis establishment, meaning it just permeated the room with the smell of like raw, cannabis.
That gruesome.
So you had
Yeah.
trim.
Remember that gruesome. That's
that
what it
was some gruesome
That's
because
what
all
it
I had was some chopped up bodies and
Nor
bags
strains.
Yeah.
that were still leaking. And eventually I threw them in the dumpster to clean the room. And now,
You could have done something
fast
with
forward, once I discovered,
all the seeds we got rid of when we had
Hold
on
on.
Reggie's.
that. Oh man.
fast forward, once I discovered what cannabis comes from the plant, I realized even the juice from the plant that was condensating in the bag could be rendered down into a rub-on
Man.
or an
Yes.
emollient of some sort.
topical.
Yes.
A topical of some
Yes.
sort.
Yes.
When you look at cannabis, and even if you got down to the raw stalk of it and you slam that stalk with a sledgehammer enough times, you get fiber.
Juice. Fiber, yeah.
You get
Yes.
juice as well as fiber. Good point.
The
Ikkor.
Declaration
Well,
of
you can make
Independence
hemp.
was
Yeah.
Of
printed
course,
on hemp paper.
Beat
Yeah.
out,
Exactly.
slam down,
Exactly.
smash it with a
T-shirts.
hammer until it becomes paper and
George
weave
Washington was smoking trees.
it. That's hemp.
Yeah.
That's the stalks.
You can actually go down to Hollywood. There's a Hollywood hemp museum, and you could see everything that you can make from
Right.
marijuana.
Hempcrete.
And all the way
houses
up
from hemp.
what it's done.
I think a lot of sales back in the day too were hemp.
All the major sales that sail the great seas
Yeah.
were based from hemp
was the Nina
based
and
fiber.
Pinta was
And the
that-
Santa Maria, damn it.
Maria? Nice.
All three of them women.
And the Lacienega.
All three of them gals as
Really gorgeous.
they coasting through the sea.
They didn't catch
with,
that one.
with their big old bows,
I bet.
parting the oceans, racing
I
through
used to live
this
off La Cienega.
wonderful, fruitful
Love
land
La
where
Cienega.
cannabis grows and flourishes.
And the
And
Lacienega
California
Hans.
is, in fact, one of the most fruitful and most productive lands of cannabis. Some of the best cannabis in the world has been
Cannabis
identified
found in
here.
America.
Maria.
Right. But some of the best cannabis in the world found right here in
Southern California, boy.
Yes.
Northern California.
Let's get back to
Yes.
the business of cannabis, though.
Dank
Dank Tank in
Tank.
the studio, Lexi Lego in the
Yes.
studio with us.
Dank
tonight.
Tank.
Wanna drill
Weedsap.com.
down. Yeah.
Look at that necklace show them that necklace that you have on there.
Oh yeah, this is by this is the Budman. The
Oh, man.
Budman stew.
They-
I think you're DJ at your event.
Yeah.
The
You
Sixth
better watch
Avenue
what you go with that.
Collective.
That looks like two apes.
It's not even real though. Like
Wow.
I was,
Yeah.
I was.
No one would
convinced
know. I'd
for
break
a
it down and
second.
smoke it myself. What are
I
you
know.
talking about?
on them hard nights, boy. On
Hold
them
that up
hard
again.
nights. I'm gonna dry that thing. I'll
look
crush it
here,
down
Lexi.
with a hammer.
You're
See
just
what I
gonna,
put in the
it's just gonna be a
microwave.
hope, and you might get hurt.
Might get
Be
hurt,
like,
y'all.
damn,
You'd
girl,
be
you
the
ain't bring
first
no
person
weed.
who
Smoking,
died
you
from
smoking,
weed.
but you have
But you're
holes in your
Lexi
heart.
Lego.
Is
You
that
ain't
a
got no
real
weed.
bud?
No,
It looked like it, huh?
it does.
They did a good replica of it.
Wow. What is that made out of?
Oh, actually, I don't actually know.
It is
we'll
actually
say hemp.
bud,
No, but
man.
I
Let's
really
keep
don't
that
know.
real.
It's
bud.
not actually.
It's like taxidermy,
Yeah,
but they
it is.
killed it and
Yeah.
and had the stuff. It's taxidermy. They killed the bud and had to go
That's
ahead
a
and stuff
nugget,
it.
man. I'm telling you,
It
dude.
is. It's a
Yeah.
real
That
nugget.
is
It
a
really
real
Put
marijuana.
a
looks
lot of
like
glaze
a
on
bud
it.
nugget.
It's so
They just put a
nice.
lot of-
Like
they put-
I was.
And they just
convinced.
shellacked
All they
it.
did was shellac it. That's a real
That's all-
bud.
They did. They
They
dipped
did.
it.
It's
That's
a real
real
bud.
herb.
It's a real herb.
Yeah.
It's a real
They
herb.
just dipped
Is
it
it
in
real?
plastic or
They
something.
just shellac it.
It ain't real, bro.
Just shellac it.
That's signed, sealed, delivered, baby.
That's a
Science
yeah,
film
that's
delivered.
that's
Yeah.
that purple. That was that purple or that was that purple.
Listen, only later will come out.
conspiracy right there.
Only later will come out the mystery of how to thaw it out. And look, hold on. Now
We'll do some research
look,
on
they
it.
got these mattresses now that when they can ship them to you in a box about the size of an umbrella, and then once you pull the mattress out the box,
Yeah.
it'll swell up to a full size queen.
The size of an umbrella.
Damn.
That's like
Or
a Mary
golf
Poppins.
bag. Let's just say a golf bag, size of a golf bag. It ships to you the size of a golf bag.
Yeah.
Wow.
A good standard,
It's a
Yeah.
Mary
15
Poppins
clubs with a
mattress.
couple of,
Right.
fairway hybrids in your bag. 15 clubs, standard height. You pull it out, it becomes like a
A bed.
super king.
Damn.
Now,
Where's this?
So
Where you see
imagine there comes out a code.
Wow.
How you could dip them and they come out as bricks. She's actually wearing like 5 pounds of cannabis in
Right.
that little.
No, that'd be 10.
There you go.
this?
my
Damn.
bad.
Right.
Two
Double
chains.
it up.
Wow.
Two strings
While,
Two strands.
while those dank tanks are good, I just went off on a
on a dank
on a
dank
dank
tangent.
tank tour.
You want on a dank tank
More
tangent?
information about the dank tank. Cannabis, SAP,
Weed sap.
for
Weed sap.
vapor connoisseurs.
Yes.
Weedsap.com.
That's what it is, weed sap.
WEEDSAP.com.
Weed
Dank tank
sap.
weed sap.
Yes.
Cannabis sap.
Yes, cannabis sap. Just like Coca-Cola makes a cola product, but they call it Coke. We make cannabis oil, but we call it sap.
Sap.
We're talking about the essence
Got that
of
sap.
the cannabis plant.
Hey, got that sap over here, homie. Got that sap over here, homie.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
so we can help design you a
The $10 bags of that sap.
sponsorship program where you can be a true title sponsor for the Marijualogist here and create for you a campaign where people can use that whole word sap in so many different iterations that it could be like they
Be a
can hit
sucker
you
ass
up.
punch.
No. That's one. I shouldn't say no. All right, that's one. We're pitching you now. All right, here's mine, where they hit you up and say, "Sap, man, sap."
I like it.
Hey, Ikkor,
I like that one. Sap, man.
man.
Sap, man.
sap.
Just sap this out.
And then you go. And
Yeah, but
now
you got through the head with those sap.
Now hold on now.
Sap.
I come from this era where like, what's up? What's up?
Yes.
What's up?
Yes, Richard.
All right. So sap, man.
Sap, man.
I like
Sap
that.
that in
All
your
right.
pipe and smoke.
We started that right here.
Right here, we're
It's
recorded.
already
Right
recorded.
here on
It's
LA Talk
recorded.
Live.
Time-stamped and
recorded.
signed, sealed, delivered.
Hashtag sap.
Details. How do
Right.
people get in touch with you?
They can get in touch with us on the website, WEEDSAP.com, weedsap.com. Our phone number is 855-710-3265. That's 855-710-DANK.
Hashtag dank everywhere. I'm going to assume fit. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. as Ikkor
Instagram
likes
is
to say.
danktank_official. And then if you just go to Dank Tank on Facebook, make sure to look for the tank, the actual tank logo, and you'll see
Strains all powerful. That's sap. Strains all powerful.
Yes, all strains matter.
All strains matter.
That's freaking hilarious. You guys are getting corny now.
All strains
So how about
matter.
we take a break?
Yeah,
just
let's
a little
take break.
herb.
Let's take a hit off of our dank tank
Yeah, man.
pins, you know?
As we go to the
Indeed.
break.
Oh, you got one. Cheers. Cheers.
Blessings.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Marijualogist. We're going to take a little dank tank brank. Hilarious.
We'll
A dank tank
sap
break.
right back.
We'll sap right back. Stay tuned.
Yes,
This
indeed.
Right
is
back.
the world's
Sap.
only show that
Sap,
explores the global
man.
impact
Hey,
of cannabis.
Hey.
Yes.
The Marijualogist.
Sap,
Don't go
Come right back.
Hey,
Just a
sap,
little
man. Sap, man. Wolf's Den later on, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. LA Talk Live. Tune in, y'all. We going in. Live performances. Ow!
Oh, I've got time for star. Officer, it's just a little herb. Ooh yeah, it's just a little herb star. It's just a little herb star. I've been saving. Ooh, just a little herb. It's just a little herb star. It's just a little herb star. I've been saving. 'Cause I've been saving. That I've been saving. All night, alright. Smoke with my brethren and feel alright. Oh now, I've been saving. I've been saving.
Alright, four take Franklin. Ha. Yeah. Four takes. Here we go. Yeah. I know you know that it go this way. Don't be surprised that I flow this way. It wasn't me that chose this way. Yeah. Straight off the dome with it. Now you're in the realer, so don't act like you won't get it. It's the best when you sit at home alone with it. Roll a Dutch, spark it up, nigga, get in the zone with it. I fuck a bitch, then I dip set like Killer Cam. Wearing pink for breast cancer, and I'm still a man. Shawty so bad, she'll fuck around and steal your man. Music that can steal a fan, more likes on my Instagram, killer. Purple haze and great baits. When I look back, boy, I made some great tapes. Y'all don't hear what I'm saying? I'll turn into the great ape. I'm here to fuck shit up like Bill Cosby on a date. Shit, I know you know that it go this way. Don't be surprised that I flow this way. It wasn't me that chose this way. Yeah. I know you know that it go this way. Don't be surprised that I flow this way. It wasn't me that chose this way. Yeah.
I hear you, Dust, man. You know, in life, you gotta remember to play the cards we're dealt and not base everything else off what we felt. Look, coffee shop flow, I got my cushion cappuccino. Andy Reid flow, I'm out here cheap and it ain't legal. Chillin' with a bad one, plotting out these next moves. Man, I'm trying to see what that neck do. 420, I'm on the grind like some horny teens. Trying to get this money, man, trying to stack this green. 93 premium, my cushion's gasoline. Light it up, hit it once, but don't pass the Charlie Sheen. My flow game is vital, giving lyrics is a revival to let them know that lyrics matter like words in the Bible. I'm doing this for all the ones who said I never take off. You right, I usually work, ain't got the time to take off. I dip to the set like my man Santana, it was all crew there. We ain't need bandanas, got our ear to the street, we ain't need antennas. Wi-Fi flow, bar stay tip top. If you connect with me, I had to give you the pass lock. I step through the spot like the coolest nigga you ever known. It's 420, I stay blown. Yeah. Gone. I know you know that it goes this way. Don't be surprised that I flow this way. It wasn't me that chose this way. Yeah.
I got the power like Ghost, yeah. Meet up with Fed on the coast, yeah. Hit up the stove for the smoke. I'm out here doing the most. I get a nigga the blues. The same what you fucking with low. Yeah, roll up the flavors. Yeah. We got Dutchess and paper.
Smoking them back to back. Got some good cushion in my sack. Smoking the best, need a plaque. Did what I did for the racks. Got family, they follow my tracks. Mixing the cookies and wax. Man, I'm high as hell, but got the glue rolled in the back. Walmart rolling the backs. Got papers, you know that it's ass. How about the coupe with the max? If you play wrong with my cash, hybrids and endo, smoking the official. You rolling that Reggie, you know that's a no-no. I'm moving in slow-mo from Chase to Wells Fargo. Cashing these checks, all on pro bono. Some people talk about smoking weed.
Talking about that shit.
Others just do it. Real niggas don't talk about getting cheese. They get straight to it. When I spit, you know it's that fluid and say I'm the
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the world's only show that explores the global impact of cannabis on California and the entire world. This is the one and only, the Marijualogist.
Marijualogist.
Yes.
That
That sounds like someone I know in the background, a brother I like to them call 4Dub.
420.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Man, he's got some smooth
Yeah, he do.
Yeah.
don't he?
I like this.
I like his style.
I hadn't heard it before until this moment.
Yeah, I like his style.
it.
He's at my show. He's my DJ at me at the event.
Joining us tonight.
I actually smoked him out with your stuff, so that's ironic that full circle came around.
Full
We
circle.
ended up on
That's
the
beautiful.
show.
He'll be
Joining
on my
us
show.
tonight,
He'll be on my show
Ikkor the
tonight.
Wolf, our esteemed colleague, co-host, co-producer of the show.
Yes.
Ikkor, would you introduce our guest once again for
Oh
those who
yes,
just
we
tuned
have Mr. Jumani representing the Dank
Yes.
Tank.
Yes.
We have Miss
It's a
Lexi
movie.
Lego,
Money in the house.
Advocate
Applause
420
for both of
Advocate, good friend of the Marijualogist in LA Talk
in.
Live.
You can watch us in live and in living color where?
Oh, at LATalkLive.com, AmericaTalkLive.com, the parent company. So I know tonight at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time we have the Wolf's Den, and you will be hearing the sounds in the background right there of DJ Freddie Mo, also known as 420.
Or 4Dub, as I like to call him. 4Dub. 4Dub. All right, so back to the mission at hand, and that is to talk about the social, political, economic, and ecological impact of cannabis on California, man. It is blowing up out here, y'all.
And
It's
I'm part
a
of
movie
it. And I'm part of it.
out of this
It's
piece.
a movement.
Yeah, it's a movement. Ikkor the Wolf, tell us what's going on out there, man.
Well, right now I'm eating on some of this Dank Tank gummies.
They got too much.
Well, this is
They
a sister
got
company.
Too much. What?
They're called Gone Gang Edibles.
Gone Gang.
And these are
Gone
the
Gang.
gummy worms.
That's your camera right there.
That were-
Show it
that
to
were,
him. Show it to
Gone
him.
Gang.
Yes.
Gone
Shout out to
Gang.
Gone Gang.
Dang.
They're using the Dank Tank oil for their edibles.
Nice.
So they're using Dank Tank sap for the Gone Gang edibles. And would you like to try some of these gummy worms?
I would,
Richard?
but they'll get around to me. Don't worry. Yeah, stay where you are. It's a movie.
I'ma stay
so
right here.
Stay on camera. Stay on point.
I got you.
All right. So listen, we also got a gentleman on the mic tonight. If he gets close to his mic, act like a pro. Get on there. The Dark Knight joins us all the way from Memphis. Gummy worms.
Yes. Hey, good,
Welcome,
sir.
Dark Knight.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
All right. So let's get back to the gummy worms.
We want to just give a shout out real quick to the sponsors of the show. This is Green Crosses.
Oh, how did we forget them?
Green Crosses Apparel.
Yeah.
They have joined us with their nice gear. So we want to represent that and rock it.
Unfortunately,
We got
tonight,
a new version coming too.
we've got
Stay
to fire once again, we've got to fire the wardrobe guy who didn't get me laced up tonight. I'm not in my Green Crosses garb.
Yeah,
so
he needs to be fired.
yeah, well, they already are, and we're out there looking for a new wardrobe person. So if you'd like
Set an
more
Amber Alert.
information about becoming a intern here on The Marijualogist, contact Ikkor at latalklive.com. That's
Yes.
IKKOR at latalklive.com.
Yes.
And you can come in and make sure, once again, for those who didn't see me, I'm laced
It's
up
a
properly
movie.
for the show. It's a movie.
He's unlaced.
Yeah, I'm not laced tonight. So
He's unlaced tonight.
sucks to be me. Anyway, back to the show. Lexi Lego.
Hey.
That
You
was
ain't said enough because you're so pretty and cute and lovable.
Bright, the smile,
And,
bright.
oh my
depth
God,
of
did
the
I
room.
just sexually harass you? Damn it!
Not at all.
On camera, good.
Not even.
Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
All right,
It's
wait
good
for
to be
it.
back.
Wait for it. Yeah.
It's nice to be back in LA.
Yes.
I do. I didn't miss the traffic though.
Where'd you go? She went to Colorado.
Where'd you go?
Well, where did I go?
Where'd you-
I went to a couple different places. I went to Colorado
Oh, yeah, you was
for
in Vegas,
about
too,
like a
yeah.
year and a half.
He's in Vegas.
I was in Vegas for a year, and then I did a lot of traveling,
Doing a Lego tour.
doing the tour, being Lego.
That's right. Seeing the world, just growing up in in our society. You know what I mean? Just seeing the world, put more
See,
hair on your chest.
Yeah, I like to see, what this earth is, that
Exactly.
and what I'm on, and
Exactly.
America, and
it's here for you.
So far, I've spent some time in different places in America.
It's
And
all your home.
it's cool, and I love it, and I want to see other places. I hope to strive to see other places.
You will.
Jamaica would be really cool.
You will get
My
there.
family's from
Yeah.
Jamaica.
Beautiful.
You will get there.
Oh man, I can't wait. This world is so pretty. I just can't stop.
No doubt. It's
Running off
and
to
it's
go
all
look
yours.
at it.
It's all yours though. That's
It's
the whole
ours,
thing.
yeah.
It's blessed that you're blessed to have all this to see.
This
you know?
life,
Yep.
this beautiful life, and this cannabis.
All right,
Keeps
so
us sane.
all that kumbaya shit aside, one of the things I've got to say that I really dig about the Dank Tank is, I want to get me on camera here.
You
real
so
quick.
dank tank.
I'm so dank. Is this really good packaging?
Well,
The fact that you can find someone who provides you with good medicine and still keeps it pro. I mean, that's like a really professional presentation for the meds. And I know there are other companies out here who do it.
course,
so
yes.
of course, there's no reinventing the wheel in this industry
No
right
doubt.
now. That's past us all. But that's
Just
cool
the
stuff, man.
presentation.
Thank you.
I really took that personal.
very professional.
So forgive me,
Right.
you know.
Because they take the time to have put them in the bags
Yes.
to
Right.
show them out to people.
Those bags aren't cheap.
It's the energy that we put into it.
I'm going to have you tag the bag before you leave, and we're going to hang this up.
Oh,
Yeah.
Indeed. We're gonna make
Commemorate
that happen.
Yeah, let's
We're
do
gonna
that.
just do one of these worms. Just hang a worm up. You know?
It's not going to last. We'll have ants in no time.
Right.
Bunch of drunken ants.
No, somebody gonna smash it before then.
We might have ants that will build us a new studio.
Man, how about
How about
that?
that?
and that's
They
great.
Wow,
have,
that's
they
some
have
good
that kind of
thing.
ethic. They have that ethic.
That's some good dank tank, I
I
got to
know.
tell you.
Star,
It
you
makes you
went
so
off on
imaginative.
right, you went off on a tangent about ants.
Let's get back to the business
The world needs
of
ants.
cannabis
Believe it.
and these unique products that you guys are introducing. Everybody's getting in the game. Yeah, I was talking to one of my girlfriends tonight, and one of them. That's what I said.
Yeah, one of
and
them, kinda.
she said to me, "I was
80s
thinking about
band.
getting in the cannabis business," and I said, "No,
too
girl,
late.
don't do it.
It's
Don't
too late.
do it. It's too late. All the big boys are already in there, and they're doing stuff." And I was
gonna
just
drown
gonna
you
make.
out.
I was gonna make. The edibles. And
Oh,
I'm like,
really?
No, really.
Really?
Now you're gonna be regulated by the FDA. That's not gonna work.
No, you got you should have told her you about to reinvent the wheel again.
Yeah, right.
Reinvent the wheel.
How do we inject these products, though, in what is about to become an absolute, explosion of new businesses? Everybody's going to want to open up a candy store model of a dispensary,
Yeah.
Right.
right? You get me?
Like a,
like
a sweet factory
yeah.
of marijuana.
Come by and, hey, the door's wide open and, buy whatever you like. And we've got all kind of stuff. There's going to be regulation on that. I understand it. But how does one get these products into what is about to explode as a new industry of, storefront cannabis dispensaries?
It's the old-fashioned way. It's going to the collectives. It's talking to the people who are in charge.
Anybody get that?
It's figuring out who is in charge in the first place. Who wants to listen to you. It's building a relationship. And that's what it is. It's the same tried and true practices from any kind of business.
Entrepreneurship.
That it's all about building a relationship, and it's
doubt.
the authenticity of going there, talking to the people, showing them what you have, seeing what their interest levels
Quality
like.
matters.
Gauging
Like you said, building a relationship, and you have to make sure you back your fucking product.
Quality matters.
Back your product in quality and.
I can't get an amen on that. Quality
Amen.
matters.
Quality
Absolutely.
matters.
Quality
Yes.
matters.
Absolutely.
Bless.
Quality
100%.
matters.
Exactly, and back your product, man, with good packaging and presentation. All that matters. You know, presentation matters.
The patience.
Yes.
Everything matters.
Patient matters.
Patient matters.
It's all about the patience.
Yes.
All right, so I have another tough question I want to pose to our esteemed panel tonight. And why is it that, especially in the microcosm of the cannabis industry, those ancillary businesses that produce these incredible concentrates and stuff like that, why, and moving on up, in fact, for that matter, to the flower dispensaries, the grocery stores of cannabis, where you can go and there's 100 strains, and what the heck does any of it do? Who knows? Why isn't anybody taking advantage, and this is a shameless plug, of internet broadcasting and creating commercials that people can hear on a daily basis, not when they're sitting in their car for as little time as you do, and even when you aren't listening to the radio. You're listening to what you want to, and podcasts are hot, and blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
Why aren't people utilizing companies like yours, and why would you and why wouldn't you if this is the
I know
anti-Shark Tank?
I know why.
Why aren't you guys advertising, man?
I know
Somewhere. Go to,
I know
something or Rock this or Power all that.
No, I
advertise your wares.
LA Talk Live.
I kind of have a idea why. I'm not going to say I know the reason why, but I have an idea why, because everybody's not doing it for one, and and somebody
it's like a dance floor. Somebody's got to get out there.
Somebody
first.
got to get out there first. That's what I was going to say. I was going to say that. It's got to start with somebody first and be able to do their. Because I was watching this show on Netflix, and I remember I told you about that show that I watched. And it's a show about a dispensary, and it's with Kathy Bates starring in it. Yeah. And she has like a mixed son who's black and white.
Disjointed or something, right?
Yes, Disjointed. That show is very good. And the commercials that they had on there, I thought was some fucking real commercials that was coming on. Like, they had like the Silverado, like the truck, like, and then they had like the big truck, and they throwing out there on the wilderness, throwing like on the desert, throwing the big bales of hay on the back, like for a durable truck and da 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 da. They sent all this stuff like a Chevy commercial. Then it's like, for your good grown weed, come down to such and such. And I was like, oh my, they threw me off. I thought it was a real commercial. It was a real commercial.
Dashing studio model, ladies and gentlemen.
We need to have those kind of commercials. Bottom line, not just a commercial like, here, come down to the Dank Tank, or come down to the Natural Lifestyles Wellness and blah, blah, blah. No, we need to see visual commercials, those kind of commercials.
All right, let's get some industry pros in here.
Like some real creative commercials.
Shimani Redway is the CEO and founder.
No. I'm not the CEO or
My
founder.
bad. Okay.
That's Keon Shokrai, but he's a good friend of mine, and he's happy that we're here. I'm the vice president.
Hope he's watching. Keyshawn, right?
Keon.
Oh, Keon. Hope you watching.
Dank
Keon,
Tank.
what up, though?
What
Dank
up?
Tank in
And
the
hey,
building.
man, you don't have to be watching. There might be other stuff on TV.
No, he better be watching.
But you can always go back and watch it, because this will be posted both on our channel, LA Talk Live under the Marijualogist, on YouTube, on our LA Talk Live channel on YouTube, and of course on Ustream, LA Talk Live.
It's going to be on the Dank Tank newsletter, on the Dank Tank social media.
There it is.
There it is.
Everywhere.
That's going to cost you.
We thank
I'm
you.
joking. All right, but let's get back to Dank Tank, and how do we get Dank Tank injected into this, what I would estimate to be, an explosion of storefront cannabis collectives offering, great wares like yours. How does that happen? How's that translating? Why don't you guys advertise, damn it?
Oh, we advertise. First of all, we're open to all different sort of marketing opportunities and advertising.
And I say there with
opportunities.
some jest. I don't mean to put you on the spot.
We're definitely open to anything that's going to reach the public and is going to hit their hearts and is going to make an impact on them, because that's where the people are. That's where we want to be.
Well, that's what we're here for, for the independent companies. That's what we're here for. That's what we have over 12 million viewers and listeners on our network, to be able to hear about the Dank Tanks and the Green Crosses. And
I say that, Ikkor, with some reserve, because, in fact, I remember the early days of 2009, 2010. Some people didn't mind being out there
right
on the forefront and advertising their business, their cannabis collective, their bongs, their pipes, their wares, period. And then other people are like, no, I don't, I'm waiting, and man,
Right, I'm waiting to see what they're gonna do.
I'm going to court next week.
But yeah, they got billboards out there though.
I'm all up in
Bus stop.
Well, don't we have all the bail bond companies involved
yeah.
in our community? Don't they got our back?
I'm using all the same lawyers that everybody else gets out with, No, but I'm not connected. I can't, I'm all up in the LA gym and, what's the other one called? Yeah. But no, I can't get on the radio show.
I can't do all that.
It was real interesting to see the way people's attitudes changed just when the vote passed.
How about that?
When the vote to legalize or whatever you want to call it, adult use, when that vote passed, so many people that I didn't even think were interested in using cannabis, all of a sudden they're like, hey,
how you doing?
Hey, what's happening?
I've had a girl for 10 years. Wait, what?
Who's going to teach me how to smoke weed?
I got my car.
Who's going to teach me how to smoke? I'm like,
I need to get my car.
Really? I had no idea you even had an interest in this. And
and within months, they no longer had to call you to get the good stuff. They could find it themselves. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, so everybody lost all their friends is what you're saying.
Right. All your so-called friends were like, oh, yeah. Right. Hey, man, I've been for you in 6 months. Yeah, So you still smoking? Yeah, man, I got a dude over by me.
Yeah, right here, down the hall from me.
Really? That's heartbreaking when that happens. But nonetheless.
No, they tell you some shit like, and he got some good shit.
I also put that out there for folks out there who may find that there are some other broadcast networks who may be a bit reticent or reluctant to, get involved with you when you have a good product and you want to get it out in the mainstream. And of course, you got your, you're the company and you're the owner and you got your Facebook, your Twitter, all your social network. You got your own YouTube channel. But it is about co-branding right now in the new economy. It's little business.
Synergy.
And little businesses, and
that's what I name my product.
We're all little atoms, and those atoms become, nuclear, right? Or nuclear? Which one is it?
Nuclear.
Yeah, nuclear.
Nuclear.
In other words,
nuclear.
They become sapsular. In other words, little companies building upon each other.
Yes.
Those are the little cogs of what makes America work. It's not big businesses. Mm-hmm. There's only a Fortune 500.
Right.
There's a Fortune 1000, in this country.
Right.
A Fortune 1000 in a country where there are over 350 million human beings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a Fortune 5000. Wow. How do they service all you greedy bastards? You want, electricity. You want air conditioning. Mm-hmm. You want lights.
You want heat.
You want
gas.
Meat. You want markets. And only 5,000 of them
exist.
At the most are what they consider to be big business.
Right.
Who the hell you think does all the rest of the work? All those little itty bitty cogs below 5,000 serving. So 5,000 businesses serve 5,000 people in a country where there are 350 million. Well, how that works. You're not going to get nothing.
It's a market for everything.
So this is where the cannabis industry is now. There are, cities, Pasadena included, Desert Hot Springs, I just learned last night, that are towns that are being saved
by cannabis.
By cannabis growth and dispensary facilities.
Pasadena, huh?
Happening out in Pasadena.
Yeah.
Really?
That go out there and look.
Desert Spring. He was saying about a city of like 27,000 people. It had the whole city went under. And now the whole city is back. It's like everybody in the city is working doing cannabis, basically. The whole city slapped up.
Home value
like
tripled.
You come there, that's a weed city now.
Home value first doubled and tripled.
Label it that.
Commercial value in Desert Hot Springs went from double to triple to quadruple value.
Right.
Yeah.
So that means if you got a
off the trees,
absolute flat piece of land that's nothing but desert out there, but somebody who's got some money and they're coming out there has lots of money and they'll build the facility.
Yeah. Their city council is embracing it.
Pasadena's coming next.
Pasadena is coming next. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Interesting.
Palm Springs would be a good place for
Victorville, Palmdale.
For sure.
Man.
I'm from Hamilton.
We better look into Palm Springs.
Riverside would probably be.
Yeah, so let's all just like go get some land.
All right, so that's our show for tonight. We're going out to get land, heading to Palm Springs, ladies and gentlemen.
Heading to Palm Springs.
So we're coming up
Retiring
on the
already.
last 4 minutes of the show. If you guys are done, I'm done. Excellent. Any last words from our studio guest tonight? Who wants to start?
Well, I just want to say thank you for everybody coming out. Thank you. Of course, it's a blessing to be here and of having LA Talk Live and the LA Talk Live Broadcast Network. Because without this station, there wouldn't be none of us to be able to have the guests and all the people that come here to do this.
Thank you.
So it's a
kind of
blessing to
fun,
have
man.
it.
It's kind
It's
of
a fun
I
thing.
gotta
It's a
say,
beautiful
man.
thing to be here on a Friday, you know?
Kind of fun.
And we got more shows coming up tonight. And
Tell them about the Mo show coming up tonight.
oh yeah, we got the Wolf's
The
Den.
Mo Show.
The Wolf's Den coming up. We got some dope artists coming to perform tonight. Some very eclectic artists coming to perform tonight. We going in tonight, so stick around. Everybody that's watching out there, take a break, go smoke, go drink, go eat up, and then come on back a few hours later, like 2 more hours later.
Go on Instagram and
Pacific
look up
Standard
Dank
Time.
Tank.
Dank
and
Tank.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
follow
yeah.
them. Official.
Yeah, do that, but don't get too high. Stand there. Come back to the Wolf Den and check us out. LA Talk Live. You know,
Yes, indeed.
8o'clock.com. You dig? LATalkLive.com. So I just want to thank Lexi for coming out. I want to thank Jumani for coming out.
Thank you.
And,
I want to thank you guys for
Thank
having
you.
me.
No doubt.
Yes.
Thank you.
No doubt.
Yes, Richard, Dark Knight,
Got the
Ikkor.
Dark Knight in the
Yes.
building.
Yes.
No
Yes.
doubt.
Memphis.
It's a
It's a
blessing.
pleasure
so,
to be with
Thank you,
everyone.
Green Crosses
Thank you.
and LA Talk Live and
Hey,
Dank Tank.
Jumani.
Yes.
You know, if I must, one question. What about for the rosters? You got one that's like the high tobacco with the the spliff. Where's the spliff oil?
You know, that's interesting. You know, we haven't
Leave you with that one.
but
we haven't considered working with like nicotine oil, but
I know
you
you
know,
were gonna say-
that's what
but
I
that's
say.
where the co-branding comes in. You know, where there's someone who's producing that, and perhaps an opportunity for us to put something together. For
Great
those
idea,
people.
great idea, but
want
think,
that.
but great idea, but think about the cancer effect.
Right.
Think
Right.
about that,
Not so
and
much
can't.
nicotine.
But realize, see, that's recreational stuff. But cannabis is designing for medicinal purposes, and to throw the nicotine in the cannabis is not medicinal, which is still a good idea because that's catering to the spliff smokers like that. But
Yeah,
that's
I mean, I don't think
but that's a
Swisher Sweet was
small.
thinking about
That's
our
a
health.
small. When you
Yeah.
look at the whole, that's a small portion.
Wait a minute now.
I don't know if that would
let's
necessarily
think about
be a
the
Dank
spliff
Tank product,
smokers
but it
that
would be
could
something
be
that we could
Swisher Sweet
folded
was not
into
thinking
the
about our
blunt
health.
smokers,
Right?
so
doing
that
something
you
behind
have
the
a
scenes.
blunt
Swisher Sweet was not thinking
flavored
about our health.
oil.
You don't want to take the cure to cancer
That's
and
not
like
gonna
turn it cancer.
That's
Well, that's just flavor now.
not
You
gonna
know, listen. You know,
It's not the same because the blunt it's more of a asphyxiation. It's more of a it's more of a hand and mouth thing. It's not even it's a ritual. It's not so much as the flavor. That's not what people looking for when they smoke the blunt.
and that's another show. So with that said,
It's not the
You
flavor.
heard it here first.
blunt flavored oils
Because
coming
I'm a bluntologist.
soon.
I'm a bluntologist. You know what I mean?
Hear me now. Now we're smoking blunt oil. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning into tonight's live episode of the
That's the same
Marijualogist.
as doing
Talk
that's same
Live.
as doing a nicotine blunt.
Dank
You know what I
Tank.
mean? Oil. You don't say
I
anything.
mean, they're not gonna supposed to look at cigarettes though.
Dank Tech in the house tonight. Give them the details,
Yes.
my brother.
Weedsap.com, WEEDSAP.com.
420 in the building.
Dank Tank _official on Instagram. Check us out.
Lexi.
Lego.
Lego.
Let it go.
Lego.
LEXI_LEGGO on Instagram.
Oh, I spelled it right too. I was wondering. I'm like, shit, I'm gonna just spell it like I think it is.
And then Lexi Lego on Facebook.
Lego.
Also find me on Noise TV, NOIZE TV.
Doing it.
And of course, Ikkor Fit Me. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Just Fit Me. Ikkor, IKKOR. Bam.
Shout once again to our official sponsor tonight, my
Yes,
friend.
Green Crosses. GreenCrosses.org.
Tell them where to get it.
Oh, you can come through LATalkLive.com and holler at Ikkor the Wolf for the Green Crosses.
And we keep all the proceeds here at LA Talk Live. And
You
Ikkor-
did.
and Ikkor don't get none
Don't
of it.
get nothing.
They smoke all the proceeds.
Come buy a hat or a t-shirt. Ikkor don't get none of it.
Don't get none of it.
All right, we'll be back next Friday, 4:20 Pacific Standard Time.
Shout out to 420 just stepped in the building.
420, absolutely.
Get-
Freddie
coming-
Mo in the building.
coming to get
Let's give
geared
him
up.
A
Freddie
rousing
Mo-
round of
About
applause
to turn into DJ Freddie Mo in a little while in the building.
for Dub. And for Dub's got some products as well. With
No doubt.
hopefully
Vapes. He got
gonna be
vapes, too.
spotlighting on our show. We're carving out a special episode, portion of the Marijualogist to spotlight new products. This whole oil vape pen thing is about to blow up as well. we want to kind of spotlight some of those companies.
I like what you do.
Get the information out there about that. All right?
Yeah.
All right.
So I guess
y'all
that
stay tuned.
concludes our show for the night.
I reckon
Until we
it
got
is.
the 8 o'clock show coming up on the Wolf's Den at LATalkLive.com. And this is the Marijualogist, hosted by Richard Karr and yours truly, Ikkor the Wolf. And we want to see y'all back next Friday, 4:20 Pacific Standard Time on the LA Talk Live Broadcast Network. Again, this is LA Talk Live, and we are more than talk. We are reality radio handcrafted for your listening and your viewing pleasure. Again, this is LA Talk Live. I am Ikkor the Wolf. Ow!
Too good to be great, so they call the man grand.
Yeah. God bless y'all.
We'll see you next week.
See y'all next week.
In my head, instead of packing like a pack rat, I was packing like a fat cat instead. Can't believe I did it once again. A fucked up habit that I got. I always do it to myself. I'm always smoking on my pot. I got no options, I could call a weedman from the streets, but it's a Monday and it's 6 a.m. before his peak. That's fucking weak. I need some weed, a long morning, THC free. I can't believe I got no marijuana for my brain. I always do this cause I need a blunt's my fucking name. I need to go at 10 a.m. I pull up to the front, guess what? They're open. Oh, why did I smoke you up, smoke you up, smoke you up, smoke you up? Oh, why did I smoke you up, smoke you up, smoke you up and not leave enough? Smoke you up, smoke you up, smoke you up, smoke you up. Smoke you up, smoke you up and not leave enough.
Thank you for tuning into LA Talk Live and the Talk Live Broadcast Network, original reality radio, handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk. Stay tuned.